my name is Sonali and I welcome you back to another episode of Around the World in 7 Days. The term Cold War, coined by leading American financial expert and presidential advisor Bernard Baruch during an address in South Carolina on April 16, 1947, retains its relevance even today. Bernard said in that speech, "Let us not deceive ourselves and believe that we are standing today in the middle of the Cold War." Since then, in international relations, the term has come to symbolize the mutual relations between countries when they are not standing face to face on the battlefield, yet are fighting a battle against each other on economic, ideological fronts. The term Cold War once lost its relevance with the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, and with it came the emergence of the phrase "the end of history," coined by Francis Fukuyama. But the emerging conflict between the United States and China has once again brought the Cold War into focus. The question arises, why is this so? Why is the emerging dispute between America and China called Cold War? Why this is called modern Cold War or Cold War 2.0? And how is it different from the first Cold War? The question is also that, what impact will this Cold War have on India? In today's discussion, we will find answers to all these questions one by one. But first, let us understand the background of the historical relations between America and China. The geopolitical rivalry between the United States and China traces its origins to a declaration made by Chinese Communist Party leader Mao Zedong on October 1, 1949. This declaration referred to the establishment of a new country, the People's Republic of China, supported by farmers and with communist ideology. The nationalist government led by Chiang Kai-shek had to flee from here and take refuge in Taiwan. Taiwan was one such region which received substantial support from America. The reason for this lay in America's wartime cooperation against the Japanese military during World War II. This historical background led to tensions between the US and China. The Korean War further deepened this tension. On June 25, 1950, when the North Korean army supported by the Soviet Union attacked South Korea, America supported South Korea, while China supported North Korea. The extent of these deteriorating relations was such that in 1954, America even threatened China with a nuclear attack. Although China was forced to compromise and the dispute was averted, when China conducted its first nuclear test in 1964, the dispute deepened once again. In the 1970s, America extended its hand of friendship towards China, considering Russia as its potential threat. By the 1980s, there was a deep friendship between the two countries, but the Tiananmen incident of 1989 once again put a halt to the dynamics of these relations. As China achieved economic heights in the late 2000s, the two countries began to move further apart from each other. The reason for this was the challenge given by China to American supremacy on economic and geopolitical issues. This dynamic of changing relations between America and China has been named by experts as the modern Cold War. The Cold War lacks direct military conflict between major powers, placing emphasis on ideological battles and proxy conflicts. This means absence of full-scale war. There is a widespread sense of mistrust, apprehension, and fear among the parties involved, rooted in the underlying apprehension that one party might, in addition to existing apprehensions, bring forward military or economic means capable of inflicting devastating consequences on the other. Today, America and China stand at the crossroads of this relationship. The central feature of this Cold War revolves around competition for global influence, with both China and the US actively engaged in expansion through economic, technological, and military influence. A crucial battleground within this rivalry is the race for technological supremacy. While America is skeptical about China's progress in the field of technology, it also accuses China of intellectual property theft. The ban imposed by America on many companies, including Chinese company Huawei, can also be seen from this perspective. Tension has also increased between the two countries regarding rare minerals. No corner of the world has remained untouched by the rivalry of regional expansion between the two countries. The Indo-Pacific region has become an arena for rivalry between the two countries. Both the countries are emphasizing on increasing their military capability and defense agreements with other countries. While America has started initiatives like Trans-Pacific Partnership, a multinational free trade agreement, emphasis is also being laid on the formation of multilateral alliances like Quad, AUKUS. At the same time, China is making substantial investments in infrastructure projects through its Strategic Belt and Road Initiative. Through this, China is registering its strong presence by developing infrastructure in these countries by building ports like Gwadar in Pakistan, Piraeus in Greece, Hambantota in Sri Lanka, Mombasa in Kenya, Dukma in Oman, Chittagong in Bangladesh. While in the First Cold War there was an ideological battle over the concept of property and different approaches to the economy, today the ideological difference between America and China, authoritarianism versus democracy. This can be understood from the recent statement given by the US President Biden. Recently, Biden has defined this ongoing conflict between the two countries as the conflict between democracy versus autocracy. This strategy seeks to unite other democratic countries to counter China's growing dominance. India occupies a central place in this collective initiative. The reason the US attaches importance to India is not only its strategic geographical proximity to China, but also the complex dynamics of China-India relations. In the evolving landscape of international politics, triangular relationships with complex dynamics between three parties often emerge. We have to look at the relationship between India, China, and America from this perspective. Their relationship is driven more by the search for balance of power in a constantly changing geopolitical environment than by friendship or alliance. America sees India as an ally against China, while India is trying to advance its national interest without going on anyone's side. While India is working on the ambitious project of Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant India, without completely ending economic relations with China, it also opposes external interference regarding its border security. On one hand, India is a part of Quad, but on the other hand, it also shares the platform with China in BRICS and Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India has refused to join NATO and has also refused to speak openly on China's internal affairs. Just as India is opposed to the internationalization of the Kashmir issue, India has also been avoiding international rhetoric on the Uyghur issue. India is also trying to resolve the clashes with China at Galwan Valley and Pangong Lake through bilateral talks without external interference. India wants a global role, hence it will neither be influenced by China's policies nor will it want to side with America. India also does not want to completely side with America and go against its old ally Russia. India's long-term relationship with Russia brings further complexities, especially in the area of defense procurement. This is the reason why India did not sever its relations with Russia despite protest by America on several occasions. India wants its own global image and do not want to be seen as an ally. The inclusion of African Union in G20 and strengthening relations with Gulf countries, France, etc., needs to be seen from this perspective. In this trilateral relationship, India has the ability to adjust its strategies to advance its national interest. In short, India is continuously moving forward and pursuing its own national interest without being a part of any camp. So that's all in today's episode. See you in the next episode. But before that, let's note down a question based on today's story. Discussing the background of the ongoing Cold War between China and America, analyze India's position in it.